Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Never An Afterthought show. I remain sincerely yours, Afolabi Imoukhuede, or as you like to call me, AI. So today, we'll be doing something very brief. We'll be sharing the feedbacks of the last episode. Let me thank Mo again for another engaging time that we had with her last week discussing education as a gateway for relevant skills in the fourth industrial revolution. We learned, as we've continued to learn in the last 3 or 4 episodes with Adora initially and then with Mo, we've continued to learn that the fourth industrial revolution is already upon us. The future that we plan for, the 21st century that we plan for, is 20 years old. Is 20 years old already. The future is here, and so everything that we're talking about, it's really topics, conversations that are imminent, that are urgent, and so I want to thank her and thank Adora and everyone, indeed Benji, and everyone who is being my guest on this show since we began. So yes, there are a few comments that came from our last episode, and I'm going to read it. These are comments that came from YouTube. One again from One Love Music, and I think I have a surprise for One Love Music. I'll tell you towards the end of the show. She said that Mo, you said so much. What's the way out for our country? These talk leaders without doing should stop. Well, I also noticed that there were also a few comments. Another one from Bukola Tosin, talking about this is a discussion we need right now in Nigeria because it looks like we are not ready. She went on to comment on what our leaders should be doing, but more importantly, how can we translate these conversations into reality? I think that's the point I really want to speak to today. And then Adedayo Ironsi also again had a lot to say about our leaders and policymakers, that we really should be looking into this direction. This is rather unfortunate for our country. Universities are dying and we're still using the old technique when the world has moved forward. Nigeria needs to wake up. Well, again, there were also a lot more. Well, as you know, we tend to repeat the broadcast on Facebook every Friday, and watching the conversations on Facebook on Friday. I must commend our Facebook audience. Last Friday was indeed very, very conversational, and there are quite a lot of comments around this as well, what we should be doing as a country, how we will not, as a people, how do we ensure that we don't lose out? The world is a global village. We need to remain competitive and all of that. I think the point I want to make is this. That's the reason for the show. Let's understand that this platform, the Never An Afterthought show, this platform or the podcast, when you listen to me on whether it's via the podcast as well, this platform is actually for you. Yes, policymakers are leaders. They can also tune in and get a lot of facts, a lot of ideas and thoughts. But let's remember that it's actually more about you, and that's why we personalize every edition for you to pick up your own, you take up your own lessons that you can run with to develop yourself and to compete. Let's remember that that's why also last week we talked about the fact that you have a lot of content. There's abundance of content everywhere. We use YouTube as an example. Last week to talk about the DIY videos. There's also Coursera, many online tutorials that you can do, that you have access to. So really it's about you, and I want the conversation to remain about you. Yes, there's charge for our leaders to do more, and we'll continue to run the conversations. But let's remember, it's about a multi-stakeholder approach, and I'm sure that you are a critical stakeholder in your own development, and that's really what I would want to say to all of the comments. I think the surprise that I also have for you is that the book team, they have a gift for One Love Music and also for Lawale Peters. The jury is out, and in the last 5 episodes, both of you have been considered the most engaging audience. So congratulations. Let me wish you congratulations. So we have a complimentary copy of the Never An Afterthought book for both of you. What I think, send a mail to podcast@neveranafterthought.com. Send your details, how they can, I'm sure your address and your mobile number, so that we can get the logistics team to send your copy to you. It's a short one today because right after this, I'm going to go into my Christmas message for each and every one of you, our season's greetings for each and every one of you. So stay tuned. Remember, you can always join this conversation with the hashtag Never An Afterthought, following us across all our social media channels on Twitter at NAA_book, on Facebook and Instagram at NA Afterthought. And you can always drop me a note on email, podcast@neveranafterthought.com. So stay tuned. After the break, my Christmas message will come. Thank you. These principles I'm about to share with us today will work for you anywhere. But thankful now for social media. Social media is now connecting, bringing back that whole concept of it takes a village. Once you imbibe the principles of empathy, you will get much better results. One of such is accountability. Please join me on YouTube every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African time for another exciting and engaging episode of the Never An Afterthought show. Season's greetings, guys. Compliments of the season. I hope and I trust that we're keeping safe and well even in this season. Wow, the year 2020. 2020. Life tells us, or science tells us, that 2020 is hindsight. 2020 is perfect sight. 2020 has been a full year. I remember the excitement this time last year, 2019, the excitement of a new decade and all that it holds for us. Our goals, our plans, the hashtag 10-year challenge, etc. I still have mine written down in my diary. Entering 2020, before we could say Jack, COVID-19 hit, global shutdown since the month of March, new words entered into our lexicon, new words like social distancing, pandemic, wear a mask, of course, death of loved ones. That's very personal to me because it was in this year, 2020, that my darling Sissy, my mom, went home to be with the Lord. And so many of us as well have lost one loved one or some loved ones or the other. Let me take a moment, to pray that God continue to comfort each and every one of us and that indeed for every home this season that is looking into their homes and there is a space on the dining table, it is my prayer that God will comfort us and may their souls continue to rest in peace. Amen. In this year as well, as a result of the pandemic, we've had loss of jobs, loss of income. We have now fears and chaos around second waves, so many. It's really been a tough year. But in the midst of it all, there has been good news. There's been good news of life, that you and I are listening to one another today is simply because we have life. There's been good news of healings. A lot of our loved ones fallen sick, picked up, they were hit with the COVID infection, they got healed, thank God. Good news of births, promotions, new gigs. Well, I can talk about new gig. I published the Never An Afterthought memoir this year, 2020. It's also in this year, 2020, that we started this show. So, life truly is a summary of bittersweet. Therefore, as we count down to roll off 2020, I know we are all eager to get it behind us and really begin to welcome 2021. Let me admonish us with a few thoughts of mine. One is that we should draw strength from the challenges of 2020 to find purpose for 2021. Two, let's remember, after 10-year challenge, decade goals, it's 10 years. So 2020 is just 1 year down. We still have 9 more years to go. And that's the reason why, in thanking God for life, we should also brace up. Let's pivot and refocus where we have to. Let's develop new skills where you have to, and indeed strengthen the skills that you have. And finally, take your development, including your health and your well-being, personal. I want to repeat that. Take your development, including your health and well-being, personal. And indeed, take it serious. On this note, let me use this medium to wish you a Merry Christmas and indeed a truly glorious, prosperous, and rewarding 2021. Let's remember, however, that Jesus is the reason for the season. This same Jesus is the anchor for our soul, particularly in these turbulent times. That's been my testimony for 2020. Please don't lose guard. Maintain social distance. Wear your mask. Wash your hands or sanitize as often as you can. But above all, be sure to have a Never An Afterthought Christmas. Be sure to have a Never An Afterthought fun and relaxing holiday with friends and with family. Even if you have to do it by Zoom, please do, because I know we have to maintain social distancing. God bless you, and when I see you again in 2021, I'm sure you will tell me that you won in 2020 and you keep winning in 2021. God bless you. How humans can indeed win the robots in the fourth industrial revolution. There are certain things that humans possess that makes us gain an edge over the robot.
Now we're beginning to realize that these skills aren't that soft, especially when the hard skills are being taken over by technology. So those things that you were proud of that you could do, they were your core hard skills. Well, there's a computer somewhere doing it.
The question therefore remains, are we developing these skills that can be automated, that are required now and in the approaching fourth industrial revolution?
Please join me on YouTube every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African time for another exciting and engaging episode of the Never An Afterthought show.